Necesita Blanco, dear sister, and we're reading Saturnastra Rimaru. This is chapter 10, part 1. They are in danger, and most of them sleep for now, but come here, this one is away, said the man, pointed to one of the large enclosures. And the creature inside was a rather large lizard with lion's mane composed of feathers. It reminded Rimaru of one of those frill lizards, except that instead of skin, it had feathers. And the eyes were more like the chameleon, and Rimaru tapped at the glass, and the lizard made a clicking sound, which was unusual. And after analyzing all of the non-lizard species off the top of his head, Rimaru concluded that this lizard was something new. Rimaru smiled and asked, "So how do you come upon this place again?" "Through hypnosis. In a previous life, you found me, and you hypnotized me to force me to recall our past work," said the fellow. "How long ago did I hypnotize you?" asked Rimaru. "About 50 years ago. You died several months later, after helping me recall our important work," said the man. "You are not planning on dropping dead on me anytime soon," asked Rimaru. "I don't plan on dying." "We have work to do," the man insisted, and he added, "and if you are still peeved about the lawn, I have some cash, and you were always such a pretty little maiden." For the following hour, Rimaru bargained with the nameless man, and after overcharging the man for stealing her lawn, Rimaru returned home with a smile on her face, and she was in such a cheery mood that she whistled to herself as she walked home. And her new stock illusion said to her as he saw her passing by, "Looking good, Rimaru," Rimaru answered, "and you as well, Sir Lucian." And for the following week, Rimaru visited the Lontis, and she never bothered to ask him his name, and Rimaru figured that he would eventually remember, even though she knew the reincarnation did not entail remembering one's past, and others who claimed to remember were just recalling vivid dreams, and the brain cannot tell the difference between a memory, a daydream, or a dream. And when remember, it creates the same images, and it was when feeling the system of the mind gets messed up and that confusion and all sorts of manias arise. And with Rimaru said, the habitat started to produce new species, and they would just appear when the conditions were right for their existence, and after a bit of a transitional period, they were strong enough to live their lives in Saturnastra, and in addition to the habitats, the old man had a bunch of books that Rimaru was not able to read. And Rimaru picked up the language in a matter of weeks, and one day when Rimaru visited the old man, she was shocked to see that he was gone, and after asking about him, the fellow had been found dead with his head on his lap, sitting in a bench in the park. And this was neither the first nor the last time that the fellow had been discovered looking like this, and the serial killer was already up to 17 bodies. And despite most patrolling, the killer had yet to be found, and it was for this reason that Rimaru and some of the knights have been slowly installing cameras all over the city to catch the crook. And the man apparently could perceive the roaming observers and the fairies even, and the cameras were the last resort. A month passed, and the trail of the killer had ran cold, and it did not help that the ghosts of the victims had passed on as soon as they dropped dead, and aside from the decapitation scene, the bodies did not seem too far damaged, and each had been done by a different instrument, and based on the time difference of all of the body, one was either dealing with a copycat or one of the species that tended to live far longer. And Rimaru first visited the usual suspects. The graves were not out to decapitating humans as of lately, and they had already studied the effects of
decapitation. As of lately? Do the graves do that normally?
As of lately.
They suddenly seem to have stopped decapitating.
They don't decapitate people. If you didn't have another reason to fear the gray aliens,
not often, but as of lately.
They had already studied the effects of decapitation on humans during the French Revolution, and
okay.
The Taurians rarely bothered to descend from the mountains, and the dogs were never the kind to amuse themselves with bullying weaklings. And the only remaining suspects were the orcs, the dwarves, and the elves. And in the city of Aragon, there lived a respectable family of orcs. And since they had recently started living, the other two were removed from the suspect list, and this narrowed the list to the dwarves, the elves, and the copycat humans. Of the humans, Rimaru and the soldiers stalked or interrogated a couple that had appeared at the scene of the crime. And as for the elves, only one lived in the city of Aragon, and the slave had left to join the Alpha Seer and had been spirited away by Nalini. and others had joined the ranks of Nalini's crystal knights, and there was one of such knights, but the fellow had developed an affinity for food.
So basically, previously on Nalini. A different book that you should have read before this one.
Previously on Nalini. And after losing his form, he no longer fitted inside his armor. And as a former knight, he did as other human knights did: start a family, gamble, go to the opera, start a business venture, and so forth. So like, the he can no longer be, and he can no longer do like nice stuff because he can't fit on the armor. I used to be a warrior like you, and then I discovered cottage cheese. and then I discovered cheese. And as for the few dwarves, they were busy trying out new career paths that had been open to them, and no longer did they have to settle for being a bartender, a warrior, a jester, or a smith. And at the moment, Rimaru was coaching a little dwarven maiden named Scylla. And Scylla was rather tall despite belonging to the dwarven race, and she was 5 feet 2, which was tall enough to put her in the petite category. And she had been quite beloved and pampered as a child, and it was for this reason why her father thought she had grown so big, and through observations her father, Scalia, had seen that suffering tended to make children short, and he fancied that the dwarven race had suffered a lot, which would contributed to the short stature. And since he had big hopes for his darling Scylla, he made his best effort to provide a healthy environment for his little girl. And his newest fancy was becoming a singer, and after much begging, Rimaru had finally agreed to coach Scylla, even though he was in the middle of an investigation or something. And the maiden had a healthy muscular frame, but somewhat softened due to her early ballet schooling. And she had large, expressive, honey-colored eyes, and short ginger mane with a healthy caramel pink color. And as for her voice, it was akin to the noises made by a frightened peacock. Ah! Ah! That's what she said. Ah! At the moment, Rimaru was saying, "It is me, 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 me. Try to get it to this range. Me, screech kid, no, screech Scylla." Lucian, who was in the habit of inviting himself to whatever home Rimaru was visiting, entered Scylla's study. And since Scylla was shy about her terrible singing, Rimaru gave her lessons at home, and Lucian asked, "From what lips did such a terrible sound originate from?" "The only terrible voice I'm hearing is coming from your mouth, Lucian," said Rimaru caustically. Scylla had a dour look on her face, and Rimaru petted her little hands and said in a condescending tone, "Don't worry, honey. If all else fails, I can try hypnosis." "Will that help?" asked Scylla. "It worked for a certain Eric, so it might work on you. You just need to hear yourself singing well in order to gain the confidence to do so on demand," said Rimaru, trying to make Scylla feel about her lack of skills a little better. "Oh, I know the hypnosis seems quite well, and I can hypnotize you, little girl," said Lucian, sitting on a nearby chair before Scylla. "I am 27, protested Scylla. "Who cares? It is just us. And why are you working so hard to stand up for yourself? You keep out that little attitude of yours, and you will learn nothing but contempt," ranted Lucian. "I don't know," said Rimaru. "My grandma left one thing slide, and then folks kept bullying her entire life." "That's not very nice," said Lucian. "And pray do tell, who was ever foolish enough to mess with your esteemed grandmother?" "It doesn't matter anymore. It happened like billions and billions of years ago," said Rimaru. "I see, so the rumors of you being an ancient vampire are true," said Scylla, getting serious. You get it. "So you're billions of years old." She thinks that because of what
it could just be exaggerated.
Yeah. "Wow, so you're that old? You're billions of years old. Wow." "Ancient? I just got into my 30s, and please do not put so many years upon me, more than I actually deserve," said Rimaru. "And the big numbers are," asked Scylla. "That is called exaggeration. And what I speak of is happening right now, even as I speak," said Rimaru. "Is that so? We should go stop then," said Lucian, getting up, and he had a soft spot for helping little old ladies, since he had been raised by one. And while most men carry lots of hair from their beloveds, Lucian carried a lock of hair from his nana, and the scent helped him sleep at night. "Don't worry about it, it's fine," said Rimaru, and suddenly he came up with an idea. As his mother often did, Rimaru jerked his head, and suddenly the idea came upon him. He left the studio without saying a word, and back at home he found a very insulted Ahi. And he was appalled by Rimaru, who had suspected of his brother, and Rimaru was not truly accusing Ahi of killing a peasant. Rather, he thought his brother was just doing a prank.
Aren't they all dead now? I mean, he can easily slaughter everyone in that area.
No, but it's the angler, the tiny one.
Oh, the tiny one, got it.
Yeah, he's an anglerfish.
Alright.
Well, an angler dragon, you know, you see the tiny little lure and you think you're looking at a human, but then if you get too close, in the end, Rimaru had to admit that his brother was not the type of person to play with his food. And with his usual suspect out of the way, Rimaru was left to ponder on the identity of the serial killer. And he didn't know who was the person doing the decapitation. Still, since Rimaru had been so mean about the problem, he had decided not to depart from Aragon for the time being. And during the weekly family reunion, my Duke also gave Rimaru a serious scolding. And on her way home, Rimaru noticed a strange-looking maiden, and there was something fluid about the way she moved her arms and legs, almost as she had no actual bones.
Oh yeah, is this book pre-Ahi or post-Ahi?
Oh, this one is post-Ahi, post-King Bersame getting killed.
Got it. So it happened at the same time as the previous one.
Which one was the previous one?
The mermaid singer.
No, we haven't read that one yet.
Oh, okay.
The last one we read, I think. Oh yeah, Loki.
Yeah, it happens at the same time as Loki, right?
Yeah, around there. Post-war.
Mm.
When Rimaru cornered the lady, he said, "Aha! You are the squid lady we met in the train. Remember the squid lady who said that she likes to travel from area to area, killing people?" Okay.
You gotta go one point. You gotta say, "Aha! It was Ahi."
So it was a bird. So it was a serial killer. So it was a squid lady who so blasted said, "I go from time to time killing people."
And
now from world to world killing people. And said, "Is it a right or bad?" And then she be like, no. It's just something she likes to do. Okay, but we already read that chapter. Moving along. When Rimaru cornered the lady, he said, "Aha, you're the squid lady we met on the train."
So this would be Chekhov's squid lady. She gets introduced at the beginning and now she's coming back.
It is Mindy's, in case you have forgotten, said Mindy's coolly. Mindy's, having your cousin as problem as is, why have you been decapitating the locals as a lady? Asked Rimaru. It is one of my favorite pastimes. What does it matter to you what I do? Said Mindy's, changing into the form she had when they met on the train. And Rimaru was cautious, and aside from her confession, they really had no proof that Mindy was the killer. And Rimaru was not the type of person to blindly believe a confession without any evidence, and Indios tended to confess to a lot of stupid things in order to issue a provocation. And even though Rimaru did not believe, Amelius, who was patrolling the city, did believe. So Rimaru said no, maybe like the squid lady was just goading her into a battle in order to have an excuse to kill Rimaru. He said, "Come on, big bro. Yeah, the killer you're looking for. Wanna fight about?" He tried to pierce Mindy's with his spear, and Mindy removed the spear with a tentacle, and she shot it right back at Amelius. And Amelius dodged it, and then he brought out his stringless bow, zooming. And when he shot the first arrow, it did not fire, and Mindy then appeared before, with a thin smile painted on her lips. And she said with her pink eyes enlarging, "Well, this is most unfortunate." Like, you're very close to the kill street, to the kill distance.
So does she have the same power as those other guys from the book that can negate magic?
No, it's just the bow is an astral weapon, so they only shoot evil.
Got it. And she's not technically evil, even though she's a killer. The bow doesn't perceive her as evil.
Yeah,
Yeah, just like Franco. You can kill Franco using divine weapons either.
Yeah, no, it's just that you gotta consider this, what is it, like, if you butcher an animal to eat, are you technically committing murder? Or are you just doing your survival thing or maintaining sustenance because you're an obligate carnivore? You get me?
Yeah.
It's not the lion's fault that it must eat meat. That is just how nature intended it after years of evolution, you know?
Yeah.
So that's and she's an alien.
Got it. The bow doesn't perceive her as evil, so it won't fire.
Yeah. One of her tentacles became sharp like a spear, and she would have decapitated Amelius if Rimaru had not stopped her using telekinesis. And she would like to pierce her spear with her tentacle spearhead thing. But then the telekinesis stopped her. I mean, discovered by her tentacle, and Amelius looked at his bow and he commented, "This is the first time my bow has failed me." "That is a sacred weapon, and in this case Mindis is not guilty," said Rimaru. "But then why did he claim otherwise?" asked Amelius. "What can I say? I like killing people," said Mindis shyly. So she was just going into a fight. Like, she likes killing people, but she likes it when they attack her first, you know? It's part of her crazy serial killer ritual. And since they started the fight...
She likes to start fights to have a reason to fight.
Yeah, and then she's goading other people into violence, and technically she's not evil because she didn't start the fight, but she ended it. So everything would have been fine if, like, the person hadn't acted upon their violent nature. So she just kills violent individuals.
Got it.
Amelius stopped a moment and then he said, "Mindis means it. So you're the squid monster plaguing Aragon. I may be a monster and a plague, but I have never been a squid," said Mindis. "So you're the squid monster plaguing Aragon. I may be a monster and a plague, but I have never been a squid." It's just a bad joke. "I think I'm starting to get what you are about. You should talk with Amelius some more, and in a more calm setting, and you will see that you both have plenty in common. You might even become friends," said Rimaru, smiling. "What is that supposed to mean?" asked Amelius. "Give it some thought, why don't you?" said Mindis, putting back on her human disguise. As she walked through the shadows of the alley, she changed forms a couple of times, and the following day another body was found, and the dead fellow was simply decapitated with no special arrangement. And the guards at first went to obey protocol, but one was wiser than the rest to just wait and see. And one made a makeshift wire trap, and he placed it at the foot of the corpse, and after 2 hours of the body decaying, Lady Scylla approached, and she was sporting an invisible bracelet. And the soldiers saw the head being picked up by something unseen, and being placed on the lap of the dead guy. And when she got strung out, the identity of the perp got revealed, and as she started screaming like a peacock, and the arrest was made, and Lady Scylla was forced to explain to her father why she had been decapitating folks. So the crook was a little dwarven singer lady.
How do they know she had an invisible bracelet? Because you said it?
Yeah, because I said. They didn't know, but they left a wire trap. The guy just put the head in the floor. And then the serial killer, following his protocol, went back to put the head back on the lab.
Oh, gotcha.
So he sprung a trap using the corpse.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so then
They disturbed the ritual, so you have to come back and fix it.
Yeah, because like serial killers sometimes be very, they're very OCD about their little rituals. So then one of the guards figured, I know that serial killers are like super OCD, so I'm just going to put the head on the floor, and then I'm going to put a wire trap near it, and then I'll see what I string up. So then somebody wearing an invisible bracelet came and fixed the head, and then she got strung up. So yeah, so that's how they caught her, using her serial killer ritual against her. You know?
Yeah.
The girl explained that it was not people but corpses. And she checked their pulses and everything before proceeding. Like, she didn't kill them, she just liked to decapitate their body.
Wait, so she's finding people who are dead and decapitating them?
Yeah, and then putting their heads on their lap. But still, that's something that usually escalates either way.
But those people were dead because of other reasons.
Yeah, like the old guy died of old age. And then she decapitated his head and put him on the person's lap. Who knows, maybe they could have been revived, you know, like you taster them enough and then they come back to life. But the point is that she claimed to have only been doing that to corpses, but that still doesn't change the fact. Why the hell are you like cutting people's head up and putting them on lap? What's wrong with you? Crazy person. We all agree that that's something that only a freaking lunatic does.
Yeah.
With serial killer tendencies. She's not there yet when she's doing that to like...
She's very close.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going to happen when she can't find dead people? She's going to make some.
She checked their purses and everything before proceeding. And she had even seen their spirits departing and everything. And in the end, the girl was convicted of being an unlicensed necromancer. And as part of her sentence,
you can get a license to do necromancy in this world?
Yeah.
Oh, from the guild.
Yeah. You get yeah. Everything like licenses are not necessary if magic is illegal. But if magic is a regulated practice and even practiced by the army, of course you need a license to do like more advanced stuff, you know. Now you can't just like be digging up courses to do-it-yourself necromancy. Following a do-it-yourself necromancy book.
Yeah, right.
Time?
3 minutes, 20 seconds.
As part of her sentence, she had to work for 6 months in a funeral home. And it's a bit said that as far as her father was concerned, still in Aragon, necromancers had to be licensed. And they were only allowed to work on bodies of executed criminals. And this was in fact a softening of an old law in Aragon, which forbade necromancy altogether. It was a crisp morning in Aragon, and a thin snow soon followed, and the winter season had finally come there, and Aragon was subtropical, so it was rare for it to get any type of snow. And the temperature drop had been quite sudden, and even the canals were getting a thin layer of frost. And even when this occurred, posters were usually placed all over the city to inform homeless of possible shelters. And following, roughly 10% of all population of Aragon was composed of homeless people. And through legislation and placement programs, Alisa had lowered it from the original 25%. So like originally, like a quarter of the people living in Aragon had no homes, but now it's only 10%. So that city used to have like ridiculously extreme poverty. Time?
2 minutes, 30 seconds.
And when her husband had crushed a rebellion in Aragon, he had not bothered to rebuild the homes and businesses broken in this skirmish, and instead he had built for himself a little fortress and a pleasure palace to boot. And due to his drunken debauchery, the nice nobles in town is no longer taken seriously. So instead of rebuilding, he just like, I'm just gonna fix up the castle, and what am I gonna build myself a nice palace? So all of the materials that were supposed to go to rebuilding, he didn't like use it on that. He spent it on himself, and now like all of the locals be like, That's why there are that's why there used to be so many homeless folks, cause like he wrecked the city and didn't repair it. On this particular day, Lio had been found napping under a tree, and he would have frozen to death if not discovered by Lucian. And Lucian, who was new to the city, did not recognize Lio, and when Lio awoke, he found himself at one of the shelters in the old ruined temple of Artsy. And he noted the hammering, and he commanded, "Stop that noise before I can have you hanged." Like the one that I found napping under a cherry tree is like the owner, it's like the ruler of the city. Who like passed out drunk under a tree, and then he got mistaken for another homeless guy, and then he got like taken to one of the shelters that his wife built. Time?
Less than a minute.
Alright, we'll leave it here. Bye bye and God bless.